Hello everyone, and welcome to my CBS Wonderful Today channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The people in Genoa City were really upset with each other. This had been going on for weeks. Nobody, not even Victor Newman, thought things would get so bad. The truth about Holden and Claire finally came out. It was a shock. Victoria gave someone a slap. This was a big deal. The show The Young and the Restless had not seen anything like it in a time. People had been looking at each other in a way. They were also giving each warnings but not really saying what they meant. Then everything just blew up. The Young and the Restless had a shocking moment. Victoria's slap was a part of it. The lies that Holden and Claire told were finally revealed. Victoria Newman was right, in the middle of everything. She looked really calm on the outside. Deep down she was falling apart. This was because the lies that Holden and Claire had been telling were finally coming to an end. It was not just that they had betrayed her, it was that they had done it on purpose, and it hurt the Newman family much. The Newman family legacy was very important. Holden and Claire had attacked it. Victoria had always trusted her instincts. Her instincts were sharp because of all the time she had in the boardroom and with her family. She had also been hurt by men who did not think she was strong. With Holden, Victoria felt like something was not right. He seemed perfect, like he was trying too hard to show people that he was hurt and that nobody understood him. Then there was Claire, who was very sweet and always saying sorry. Claire seemed innocent, that it made people let their guard down even in a place like Genoa City where people are usually careful. Victoria thought that Holden and Claire were very good at playing their parts, like they were acting in a movie or something. They did it well that it was hard to tell what was real and what was not. Things were going okay until they just stopped working out. Things started to go in small ways at first. Victoria would walk into a room. People would suddenly stop talking on the phone. There was a problem with the money at Newman Enterprises that someone with information must have caused. Then Victoria found out something about Claire's past that did not match what Claire had said before. Victoria sees everything that goes on. She always has. One evening she saw something that really made her wonder what was going on. Holden and Claire looked at each other in a way that said they were working together. It was not a look. It was like they were planning something. Newman Enterprises was. Victoria was going to figure out what was happening with Holden and Claire. Victoria was determined to find out what really happened. She started to look into things on her own quietly. Victoria did not tell Victor about what she was doing because she knew he would get very angry before they even knew all the facts about the situation. She also did not talk to Nick about it because Nick still thought that people should be given a chance to explain themselves. So Victoria did what she is good at. She paid attention to what was going on. She listened to what people were saying. She waited for the right time to act. When that time finally arrived, Victoria took care of everything in a very careful and deliberate way, which is what Victoria does. Victoria made sure everything was just right. Something big happened at Newman Enterprises. It was in a room where important people talk. The room had bright lights that made everything feel cold. This meeting was supposed to be normal. Holden thought they were going to talk about making the company bigger. Claire was there to help out her friends. Neither Holden nor Claire knew what was really going on. They did not know they were walking into a trap at Newman Enterprises. Newman Enterprises was where everything was happening. Victoria walked into the room last. You could hear her heels clicking on the marble floor. It was like a clock ticking away. She did not sit down. She did not smile either. Victoria put a file on the table, pushed it forward. The file had documents and recordings and timestamps inside. All of this was evidence that told a story. This story was something that Holden and Claire could not get out of. The room felt all of a sudden. Holden did not seem confident anymore. Claire's breathing stopped for a second. Victoria placed a file on the table and it was full of evidence against Holden and Claire. Holden's confidence was not the same. Claire was also affected by what Victoria had brought to the table. The evidence was strong. It told a story that Holden and Claire could not escape. Victoria spoke in a voice at first, but what she said was really bad for the people she was talking about. She told everyone about the things that did not add up. There were bank accounts in countries that had Holden's name on them. Claire had used papers to get close to important people in Newman's life. The truth was that Holden and Claire knew each other a time before they came to Genoa City. It was not a coincidence that they met again. Victoria said that Holden and Claire wanted to sneak into people's lives, manipulate them and control them. They wanted to do this on purpose. Victoria talked about the connection between Holden and Claire, how they had planned everything. Holden tried to interrupt. He tried to change the story. Victoria stopped him with just one hand up. "You do not get to change this," she said in a voice. "You have already changed it much." Claire was the first to break down. Tears started falling down her face. She said she never meant for things to get this bad. She said she was scared and people were pressuring her. She felt trapped because of things that were happening that she could not control. Victoria was not convinced. She had seen people cry before. Victoria had cried a lot herself. So she knew when people were crying to get what they want. The tears of Claire did not move Victoria. Victoria had cried enough to know when tears are not real. Claire was saying she never meant for things to go this far. Victoria was still not moved by the tears of Claire. Something big happened that nobody saw coming. The moment that nobody expected had finally arrived. This was the moment that would change everything, the moment no one expected. When Holden stepped forward, he was way too close. It looked like he was trying to defend himself. Victoria did not think, she just reacted. Her hand shot out, slapped him right across the face. The sound of the slap was loud. It made everyone in the room stop talking. Victoria was not just angry, she felt betrayed and humiliated. She was really mad because she thought Holden had tricked her. She did not want to be treated like a fool by anyone, especially not by Holden. The slap was because of all these feelings, because Victoria was furious with Holden. The shock hit everyone away. Holden took a step back, really surprised by what it meant, not how it felt. Claire let out a gasp and put her hand over her mouth. The security people outside the room just stopped. They did not know if they should do something. And Victoria, she just stood there, not sorry. All her eyes were really angry. She said that her voice was shaking because she was really angry. That is, for all the lies you told the user, every move you made because you thought you were smarter than the user. The slap wasn't the end. It was the beginning of the reckoning. Victoria found out the truth of all. Holden and Claire were not just people trying to make money by cheating others. They were doing something worse. They wanted to hurt the Newmans because of something that happened a long time ago. It was about a deal that went wrong. A family that got hurt. A name that Victor Newman did not want to remember. Holden was not some guy who got lucky. Claire was not someone who got caught in the middle. They were doing all of this to get revenge on the Newmans. It was impatient revenge. It was very personal. The Newmans, Victor Newman, were the target of Holden and Claire's revenge. When Victor got there, the situation was really bad. He had been called because things were getting out of control. The moment he arrived, everything got even worse. He looked at Victoria, saw that she was very upset. He knew that things could not be fixed. As everything came out, Victor was very angry. Deep down, he also felt sorry. Something from his past had come back. His daughter Victoria had suffered because of it. Victor thought about what had happened. He felt regret. His daughter Victoria was the one who had paid the price for something that Victor had done a time ago. Nick and Nikki soon followed, each dealing with their feelings of shock and guilt. Nikki thought it was all her fault for not noticing the signs. Nick was upset because he had trusted the person again. Victoria was the one who was hurt the most. It was not because she was lied to. Because Victoria had actually believed what she was told. Claire, she was not pretending anymore. She told the truth about everything. She said what she did, how scared she was, and how she was loyal to Holden in a way. She also said when she knew things were getting out of hand. Just because she told the truth, it did not mean everything was okay now. The people in Genoa City do not forget things easily. The Newmans are the last people who will forgive you. By the end of the day, Holden was taken out of the place because the police said they would arrest him if he did not leave. His plans were messed up. Claire was left all by herself, crying and feeling very lonely. She was also feeling scared because she knew she could not fix things like she used to. What about Victoria? She went back to her office. Sat there all alone, looking out the window at the city. She was thinking about what it means to stay safe in a world where people get hurt if they love or trust others. The Newman family would have to deal with problems. Things would change a lot. People who were friends would not be friends anymore. Old problems that people thought were gone would come back. The Newman family would have to think about the things they did in the past again. One thing is for sure. Victoria Newman is now stronger, sharper, and more dangerous than ever. The slap that was heard over Genoa City was not just because she was angry. It was a message. Victoria Newman would not be fooled. Victoria Newman would not be taken lightly. And anyone who tries to will find out what happened to Holden and Claire. They will learn a very harsh lesson. From Victoria Newman. The city of Genoa City is a place where secrets do not stay hidden for long. Lies in Genoa City always come out into the open, and the truth is finally revealed about the lies in Genoa City. And when they do, Victoria Newman makes sure they hurt. The slap from Victoria Newman was a deal. It did not just stay inside Newman Enterprises. It affected the city of Genoa City. It showed problems that people had been hiding behind faces and carefully chosen words. By the time it got dark, people were already talking about what happened in ways. They were whispering to each other in secret, talking about it at society and guessing what really happened at Crimson Lights. No matter what people said, they could not really understand how big of a deal it was. This was not just people talking about someone's business. Victoria Newman's slap was something. This was a reckoning. Victoria did not go home that night. She stayed in her office for a time after everyone else left the building. The city lights outside they looked like little fires against the window. Victoria thought about what happened over in her mind. She remembered the look on Holden's face when he found out the truth. She remembered the sound of Claire's voice when she stopped lying. Victoria also remembered the silence after she slapped someone. Victoria likes to be in control of everything. It hurt her a lot to know that she was fooled badly. She would never say that out loud. Victoria would not admit it. What really bothered Victoria was not that Holden had betrayed her. Guys like Holden always show their colors after a while. It was Claire that really got to her. Claire had seemed vulnerable and scared and lonely. Victoria had seen a lot of herself in Claire. She had wanted to help Claire and keep her safe. That is what made Victoria so angry. She was angry because she had felt a connection with Claire. Victoria had thought that Claire was being honest with her. Now she is not so sure. The thing that makes Victoria the most upset is that she had trusted Claire. At the ranch, Victor Newman saw how bad things really were. It made him so angry that it felt like the walls were shaking. He walked back and forth like an animal that cannot get out of a cage. His voice got louder and louder as Nikki tried to make him feel better. She could not do it. The name Holden brought back a lot of memories for Victor Newman. It was like a wound that still hurt. Victor Newman had thought that he had forgotten about it because he had been so successful and powerful for long. Now he knew that he had not forgotten about it at all. The name Holden was still a problem for Victor Newman. Victor finally said, "This is on me," and his voice was really low and it sounded scary. Nikki just stopped moving. Victor did not say those words often, so when he did, it was a big deal. He said, "I did not think about how my decisions would affect things, and now my daughter is suffering because of it." Nick arrived after, and he had already heard parts of the story. When he heard it from Victor and he saw how furious and regretful Victor was, that changed something in Nick. Nick was not mad at Victoria. He was mad at himself. He was mad because he did not try harder when he thought something was wrong. He was mad because the same bad things that happened before were happening again with the Newman family. Claire was sitting by herself in a room at the GCPD where they ask people questions. She felt really bad about what she had done. It was like something was pushing down on her chest. This was the time since she got to Genoa City that she did not know what to do. There was no plan. No one to tell her what to say next. Holden had told her that things would never get this bad. He said Victoria would never find out what they were doing. He also said that the Newmans were people who always did the things. Holden was wrong about all of those things. The Newmans were not predictable like Holden thought. Victoria did suspect something. Claire thought about what Holden had promised. He had promised that they would never let it go this far. They did let it go this far. Now Claire was in trouble. As Chance pressed her for answers, Claire just fell apart. She told him everything. Not about the plan but about how it made her feel. Claire said that after a while the lies did not feel like fun anymore, they felt like the way to get by. The fact that Victoria believed in Claire was something she could not handle. It felt wrong that Victoria had much faith in her. The scheme. Claire said this quietly. She did not mean to hurt her. Tears were running down her face. Claire did not know how to make it stop. She was talking about hurting her. It was really bothering Claire. Chance paid attention. He was not swayed by emotions. He knew this was not just a simple trick. This was a plan that was going to take a time to work, and it was all about getting back at someone. The more Chance looked into it, the more he saw that Holden had a lot of power and influence that they had not found out about yet. Chance thought about Holden and how far his power really went. It was a lot more than they had discovered far, and it was all connected to Holden. Holden was thinking about what he would do, so he was already planning his next move, with Holden trying to figure out what to do after that. He was thrown out of Newman Enterprises and people thought he was done for. He did not want to give up. Men, like Holden, do not fall apart. They figure out a way to do things. He still had friends who could help him. He still had power to get what he wanted. The most important thing was that he still thought Victor Newman had something to lose. Things started to happen fast. People who did not want to be known were giving tips to the police and newspapers. Important papers were given to the press without permission. Some of these papers had information that was not entirely true. They were still used to create big headlines in the newspapers. These headlines were so shocking that they were putting Newman Enterprises in a difficult situation. Holden might not have been able to get the information he needed anymore. He still had big plans and he was not going to give up on Newman Enterprises. Victoria saw what was going to happen before anyone else did. She knew something was going on. Victoria was right. Victoria had a feeling about it. It turned out that Victoria was correct. She got everyone together for a meeting the next morning. She was really cold and stern. She was not going to change her mind. She did not say please trust her. She told them they had to trust her. When people asked her questions about what she thought and how Holden and Claire became good friends, she did not try to avoid the questions. She said it was her decision. She was responsible for it. She took responsibility for Holden and Claire getting so close. She said I was targeted. That is what happened to me. I did something about it. I responded. If anyone thinks that makes me weak, then they can just leave the company now. The people who work for this company need to know that I will not be pushed around. I will do what it takes to protect myself and this company. If being means standing up for myself, then that is what I will do. Anyone who does not like it can leave. No one did. Behind doors things were really bad. The cost was very clear. Investors were not sure what to do. Other companies were waiting to take advantage of the situation. Victor for the first time took a step back. He let Victoria take charge of fighting back. This was Victoria's fight now. She was in control. At Society, Nikki confronted Claire in a moment that took both women by surprise. This was a conversation, with no pretending or trying to seem important. Nikki did not raise her voice. She did not make any threats. She just asked Claire one question. Was any of it real? Claire just fell apart. She was so upset that Claire could not stop crying. Claire was really struggling to deal with everything that was happening to Claire. Yes, she said, and then she started crying. That is what messed everything up. Nikki could not get that confession out of her mind for a time after she walked away. She knew what it meant. It was the moment when a lie starts to feel like the truth. It was the moment when Nikki realized that she had done something that she could never take back. The confession stayed with Nikki. It was the moment when a lie became the same as the truth, for Nikki. As the days went by, the emotional fallout spread. Victoria became really guarded and ruthless. She built her walls higher than before. Nick was worried that Victoria was keeping to herself much. Nikki was scared that Victoria was becoming too hard and that it would make her unhappy. Victor felt proud and guilty at the time as he watched Victoria. Holden? He was standing in the dark, really angry. He thought the Newmans still owed him a lot. He was thinking about all the things he thought they had done to him. The Newmans, he believed, still had to make things right with him. Holden. The truth was finally out in the open. All the lies people told were exposed for everyone to see. This is Genoa City we are talking about. In Genoa City, when the truth comes out and lies are exposed, that does not mean the story is over. The story of Genoa City is far from over when exposure happens. This thing only helps to make the knives sharper. The knives are what get sharper. Victoria Newman had made it through a tough time when people she trusted did something very bad to her. Victoria Newman was very strong. She got past the betrayal. Living through something is really great. Survival came at a price. When you think about it, survival came at a price that's very hard to pay. Survival came at a price. That is what makes it so difficult to deal with. And the next chapter promised to be even more brutal.